with Montero on boxing. Michael Montero, dude, welcome to the show. It's an absolute honor to have you on, dude.
Thanks for having me on, man. Thanks we can finally figure out the Zoom shit and get it working. Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Before. Yeah.
It's an honor to have you on, dude. It's almost impossible to figure out all this tech stuff. Like we were talking before off air about, I'm always calling in my wife to be like, babe, I don't know what's going on. Babe, I don't know where my show is. It disappeared. Yeah. I can't hear anyone. I can't see anyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me? What the hell is going on? So you deal with this too.
Yeah, dude. It's the same thing with my wife. I mean, even in the middle of my show, I'll be live on Ring TV screaming for my wife to come in and fix the audio. Like I've had several episodes where the audio is trash. It's peaking or it's too low. But it's like every week with every show, I figure it out a little more. And then you get it to where it's just right. And then they do some patch or something like that and screw it all up again. And you have to start the process over. But, you know, technology, it is what it is.
So I'm not the only one, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So let's talk about the Neutral Corner. Your podcast, obviously one of the best out there. Mike, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Do you mind if we talk about your origins and your start and the love affair with boxing?
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I grew up in Detroit. So, you know, I always loved boxing. My family was always watching boxing. And it was one of my favorite sports. And then right around 8, 9 years old, I don't know if you remember the Bad Boys, the Detroit Pistons, right? During like the peak years of the NBA, then I really got into basketball. I still loved boxing, but like I really got hardcore into basketball. But boxing was always like number 2 at that age. As I became an adult, boxing came back to number 1. And I've lived all over the country. I was in the Marine Corps. I did a little bit of boxing there. I've trained and sparred for years. And when I moved to LA in 2009, I started hanging out at the gyms, training with dudes, you know, talking boxing. And we go to the bars and watch fights and stuff because the fights are on at bars out there. And several guys were like, dude, you know your shit. Like, you should be credentialed for fights. And I didn't even know what the hell that meant. I didn't know what the press credential was. I could barely formulate a sentence, you know, but through a friend of a friend of a friend who knew a fighter, blah, 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 I got in at, I don't know if you remember the World Series of Boxing.
Of course.
America actually had a few teams the first year, but LA had a team called the Matadors. And they brought me in there. I was able to get a press credential. And technically, I was covering a fighter from, I think, Houston. He was from Texas that was on the LA Matadors. And there was a local paper there that kind of put me on and got me a credential. So that goes back to 2010. And I had written and blogged about boxing like on fan sites for years before that. You know, I look back at some of those articles now. Oh my God, they're so bad, so bad. It's cringeworthy. But you know, so in LA, I started on the beat in 2010, and I honestly, dude, like it's not sexy. I just worked my way up the old school way. I met people that were like, "Hey, man, you know, you got something going here." They brought me on. I've had some great mentors, obviously in LA, but also in the UK. There's some guys that brought me on Boxing Monthly magazine over there. And they actually put me on before the Ring put me on over here. And then I was on Undisputed Champion Network. They're no longer with us. Neither is Boxing Monthly. Some of the platforms I've been with have gone away. But Ring is obviously here to stay, right? We've been around for like a century, literally a century. And we'll be around a century longer.
The Bible of boxing.
Yeah, man, it's so awesome to be with Ring. And, you know, I've been doing my podcast. I literally started on my couch just talking about boxing. You know, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And it's progressively, you know, gotten better. And we've added, you know, phone lines and we've gone live now. And it just, everything's gotten, and we're still getting better and better. And it's gotten to the point where I wanted to present it to Ring several years ago. And Doug Fisher, the editor over there, he was interested in bringing it on, but I wasn't quite confident enough to present it, you know. But now, again, with everything that we have, there's the phone numbers, toll free in the United States and the UK. You know, now that I have all that to present, I felt comfortable taking that to the executives, basically like, hey, this is worth you paying me for. Here's what we can do. And so far, so good, man. It's been a really good thing.
Well, it's been a hell of a ride, Mike. I've been following your rise and seeing what's going on. And there's only a few people I listen to out there. No disrespect, but there's only a few podcasts because we all cover the same thing in boxing. It's an oversaturated market when it comes to podcasting, but there's only few people that keep your interest. And you're definitely one of those people that keep my interest. And I got to say this, because I also have a great wife myself, and she helps me. She helps guide me with technology like we were talking about. And also she'll let me know like when the mic's too hot or you're doing too much of this, so you got to do more of that and less of this. And that's great to have. And I seen the way you guys have built it. So that's why I wanted to connect with you, because I see that relation. I understand what that's like, you know, family business, if you will. It's a family business. And congratulations, because the pod has looked amazing. Your background is fantastic. It's gotten a great response. I mean, you're working with, you mentioned before, with Dougie Fisher, who you also worked with before in the past, also Steve Kim, all great boxing minds, you know, and then the more we have experience doing these things, the better we get at it, right?
Right. Every single week, you put something out and you get a little bit better every single week. It's funny you mentioned that, man, because I get, not to cut you off, it makes me think like, I get questions and I get emails and messages, DMs all the time from younger guys saying, hey man, how can I get started in media? You know, that's always the thing. Sorry, I had somebody calling in.
No, you're good. You're good.
But these election calls, man, nonstop. I cannot wait until this thing is over.
I sent someone to hell earlier today.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, are you Mr. Signorello? I'm like, yeah, who is this? How can I help you? I thought maybe it'd be a business call or something. She's like, well, we're with this political party. I'm like, don't ever call me with politics ever again.
Exactly. Dude, I've been doing that on my text message, on the phone calls, my email, and they still call. Still. So I cannot wait until, we got 2 more weeks of this crap.
Oh,
anyway,
God, I can't wait till it's over.
But I get kids messaging me a lot, you know, and saying, you know, how can I get started, this, that, the other. And I try to explain to them, the best thing you could do right now is start doing shit. Whether you're a writer, a podcaster, just start putting out material, because it's going to take you 100 episodes of your podcast to find any kind of groove, any kind of voice. You're going to have to write 100 articles to figure out how to write and figure out what your style as a writer is. It's actually probably more like 500. But like, I think a lot of people in the younger generations think, oh man, I'm just going to just jump in this shit and in 6 months I'm going to start making money. Dude, this is a 1%er business. It takes a long time to start making money. And it's been my wife, like you were just talking about, that's been pushing me to take it to that next level. Because before, man, I was cool with just showing up at 4 or 5 fights a year. Maybe you get $50 for food or something. And I was just happy to be there. I was like, this is great. Dude, that's 90% of credentialed media right now. A lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. But my wife, you know, she was my fiance at the time, or my girlfriend at the time, actually. She's like, you can make money doing this shit, you know? And she kept pushing me. And here we are. So
that's what you get. And the funny thing is, too, you talk about, you know, credentials. I started getting them in the early 2000s. I was working for Ring Talk at that time, and I had some great credentials. The best part was, like, I think I was telling Brian Campbell about this yesterday, main events, like, Kathy Duva, like, she put out a whole nice, you know, display of Italian food and all that. That was the best part.
Puts on a spread.
Like how much you get paid to work ringside. I'm like, I got pasta.
Yes. Yeah, man. I got food. I mean, there's actually been a couple of times I've gone where I got 2 drink tickets. I was like, shit, this is awesome, man, because I'm getting food and a couple of beers. That actually has happened. And then being in LA was awesome because there's so many pressers there. LA is the hotbed of boxing in North America. Best gym scene in the world, I talk about all the time. The big events happen in Vegas, I get that, but there's a lot of press events in LA. So, dude, I can't tell you how many like media lunches I went to, where it's like, okay, I'll write a story, I'll drive 3 miles from where I live, show up at a steakhouse, eat $100 steak. It was, okay, dude, you don't have to pay me for that shit. That's cool. But yeah, if I'm showing up at the fight and everything else, it's cool now that like I could do that for a ring. And, you know, I'm doing it as a job, like as an actual job. That's so awesome, man.
Well deserved too, by the way. And the
Thank you.
great part is, like, back in the day, of course, man. Back in the day when I used to do fights, mostly because we were sponsored by HBO at that point in time with Ring Talk.
Okay.
So I would always work HBO events. It's like you're hanging out having a salad with Roy Jones Jr. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
you know, how much money am I making? Not much. How long is this day? 14 to 16 hours. Because you know about this. Yes. If you work press, you go there. What is it about? I don't know, an hour or two, set up your station, get your, you know, your whole spot locked in, get your credentials verified, have a little food, you know, undercard starts. And we know that as journalists that back in the day used to write too as well. So they want you to cover everything. It's not just about the main event. They want you to do everything in detail, everything, you know, so you have to pretty much watch everything. And then you go all the way through the fight card. And then you go to the press conference afterwards.
Press conferences.
Yep.
Dude,
by the time you get home, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and you have to write an article.
Exactly. And what a lot of the younger guys don't realize, guys just trying to jump into this, is like, you at first you're doing that at club shows. You're driving, like, I lived in downtown LA. There'd be those club shows out in like Riverside, you know, a couple hours outside LA, whatever. So I'm working my day job. I'm getting off at 5. I'm driving through LA, 5 o'clock traffic. Everyone bitches about their hometown traffic. It can't fuck with LA. Trust me, okay? People in New York, no, LA's worse. 5 o'clock LA traffic out to Riverside to cover a club show that's on Showtime 22, or, you know, one of the 18 Showtime.
ESPN Ocho. It's on the Ocho.
Yeah, on the Ocho, right? It's on the Ocho, and you're covering. And again, I was just happy to be there. I was happy as hell. But you're pulling a 12-hour day, or you're driving up to Vegas to do that, and you're not getting done until 2 in the morning. I remember, dude, you know this. You go to the casino after the fight's over, and you're sitting at the bar drinking while you're typing up your shit or chopping up your article. It's 4 in the morning.
Yep.
There's drunk people gambling and shit right next to you. You got headphones on the laptop. I feel like most people now do not understand that process. They want to jump on YouTube and just make a YouTube channel. They want to just start making a podcast. Like, dude, there's a process you got to put in that you got to work through to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? People want to skip in line, but, you know, I don't want to sound like a
no, you're right. You're right on, because I understand everything you're saying. What was the favorite fight that you had that you were in attendance for? Like, what was the best fight you saw working press, or just as a fan? Best fight you saw live?
Oh man. You know, so when I was really starting to get involved in the media, my wife, then girlfriend, made me promise her that once a year we would go to a fight card as fans. I would not work. We would buy a ticket, actually pay for a ticket. And I was like, what? I can sit ringside for free. We're going to pay for a ticket up in this. Okay, fine. But we would do that. She made me promise once a year. So there was one time where one of my cousins was visiting from the East Coast, visiting me in LA. And I went with him and a few friends and my girlfriend to Salido Vargas, to that card.
Oh, wow.
Because I knew that was going to be a great fight. And I was like, if we're going to go to one as fans, that's the one. And I got to say, it was a lot of fun. Like, I went there probably with a group of 10 people. Wow. And so being able to drink and have fun and shit, you know, because when you're working, you don't do that. You wait until after the fights and then you enjoy yourself.
Of course, yeah.
But being able to have beers and mix it up with fans, you know, other fans, and that was the first big card after Muhammad Ali's death. So it was a really special night. There was just like and it was at StubHub, man. I don't know if you've been to StubHub for a fight.
I've never been, but we all know the reputation about StubHub, brother.
It really is magical, man. Like man. When the sun goes down, the undercard starts and it's bright outside, right? But then right before the main event, the sun's dropping, and there's just I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Seriously. It really is a magical place, bro. Like, that's one that really stands out to me as just like, this is so much fun, and I don't normally get to enjoy it like this. You know what I mean?
Was all 4 of the Marquez Vasquez fights there, or just 3 of the 4?
I don't think all 4 of them. No. Right. I remember 3 being there for sure.
Oh man, what a fight that was, dude.
Dude, that was disgusting. That 12th round.
Dude, I was so pissed off at my buddy, one of my best friends, got married that night. And I'm like, congratulations. But you booked it on like the worst time possible. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Vasquez Marquez 3 is popping off.
Yeah.
And I was pissed. And I was his best man. I had to give a speech, and it was so hard to bite my tongue to say, hey, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I love you guys.
Give a fight pick halfway through the speech, right?
I introduced the two of them together, but I'm like, you are making me miss this fight right now. So I go home with my girlfriend at the time, and she's like, what do you want to do now? You want to drink? Want to hang out? I'm like, no, I'm going to put this fight on. This is like back in the day. Like, I don't even know if I had DVR. Maybe my dad taped it for me on VHS and I picked it up. Who knows what happened? But so I popped the fight on. She's like, you're really going to do this right now? I'm like, yeah. This is like the most important thing in my life.
Yeah, you don't understand. You don't understand.
He got so pissed at me.
We've been there, brother. Yeah, yeah. I think all of us have been there more than a few times. Yeah, where the lady isn't very happy with us because it's like sex later, boxing now. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
110%. But I thought it was one of the great. I thought of all the four of them. I mean, they were all great in their own right. The fourth one, obviously Vasquez was a little washed towards the end, and he had the bad eye injury.
That was just cashing the check.
That was different. The first one was incredible. The best fight I've ever been in attendance for was Gotti Ward. I had the privilege and honor to see 1 in 3.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's amazing.
One of them was with credentials, was the third one. The first one was just as a fan. And man, I tell you what a fight to be at. And then when you come home from a fight like that, you're like, you don't even know what to do with it. You're like, what the hell did I just see? Like, what was this real?
It's hard to sleep.
And then I put on the HBO broadcast, and Emmanuel Stewart, oh my God, look at this. You only I'm like,
hey, you going back to the body.
Like, this really happened.
Back to the body. Yeah, dude, that was awesome, man. Yeah. I miss Manny. What a wonderful human being. What a wonderful human being Manny Stewart was. I miss him so much, man. Just great man. Yeah.
Me too, man. Me too. I mean, one of the best commentators and also trainers and just boxing minds, and just a great guy. If anyone's ever been around Emmanuel Stewart, they got nothing bad to say about Emmanuel Stewart, brother.
Exactly. Yeah, just a credit to the human race. He was just a wonderful person, helped so many people in Detroit. Sorry, I had another call. There was another call. That was not politics. That was Raul Marquez. So I got
Raul Marquez coming in now.
Yeah, he was on my show recently. You want to talk about a good dude? He's awesome.
He's great.
He is an awesome guy. I love that guy.
All right, so switching subjects right now. What have you guys been doing outside of boxing and watching sports to keep yourself entertained? You watching TV shows, listening to music? What are you guys doing over there?
Nah, man, my life has been renovating this house I bought. So when we left LA, we lived in a shoebox because that's, unless you're a millionaire, that's what you live in LA. Absolutely. And we moved here to Atlanta 2 years ago. And we were able to buy a nice house, a big house. It's old. It's probably 60-something years old, and it needed to be renovated. Everything in it's original, but it's a mansion compared to where I grew up. And we have, I don't know, probably 3/4 of an acre yard, this, that, the other. So the last 2 years of my life, I've been stripping this house down to the studs and rebuilding it. And the inside's done now, but this summer, we started working out in the yard and getting that together. And right now, I'm actually almost done building a deck. We're going to build like a deck, a covered porch and all that kind of stuff on the deck, and do some extra concrete because the driveway's busted up. There's cracks all over. So just stuff like that. That's pretty much what I do on my weekends. And because of COVID, man, we haven't been able to go out and do a whole lot.
I'm saying, dude, I'm telling you right now, if I could ever – make my way over there. That bar that you put together, when I see the pictures on Instagram, I'm like,
dope.
I'm like, dude, what a spot. I'm like, I gotta sit there and talk some boxing with you and just talk whatever. Dude,
anytime you're in town, brother, hit me up and we'll do that.
I certainly will.
We'll turn the camera on and we'll film that shit.
If you come to Vegas, brother, like absolutely. Anytime
I can't wait to get back out there. Yeah, man.
I mean, the trip, yeah.
I'm hoping early next year it opens back up out there. you know?
I'm hoping so too. I'm hoping so too, Mike. So basically, what I've been doing in my family, we spend a lot of time together, and we're one of those fortunate families that have, we get along really well. So we have a great vibe at home. So it's not taxing on us. Watching a lot of 80s and 90s martial arts movies, listen to a lot of music, TV
Awesome.
shows. I think I rewatched The Sopranos for about the 15th time.
Dude, I miss The Sopranos. Holy shit. Yeah, well, I see the Bada Bing shirt. Yeah, man.
Right over here now.
I'm over here. My cousin gave me the whole DVD collection, so I got to pop those in and start watching them. Why is it on Netflix? What the hell's going on?
They moved it to Netflix, huh?
No. Why isn't it on Netflix?
Oh, it should. It certainly should be.
Look what I'm saying.
Cobra Kai's success. I mean, Cobra Kai came out
Yes.
2 or 3 years ago, and now everyone's talking about it. I'm like, guys, I've been watching this since day one.
Yeah.
It should certainly be on there. Have you listened to the podcast that Steve Sharippa and Michael Imperioli have?
Yeah. I haven't heard every episode, but I've heard several of them. Yeah.
It's really good.
Interesting. Yeah.
I had Steve on my show recently.
I saw that. Yeah.
Bro, he's such a great guy. He was talking. I couldn't believe this. Like, this when you do shows and you have guests. I love Steve to death. He said something on the show. I had to oh man, I love this, but I have to go back and listen to make sure this is okay. He talked about, and I'm going to talk about it only because he talked about it, when he worked as a waiter in a pizzeria in New Jersey. He pissed in a deep fryer on someone's calzone that pissed him off.
Hey man, I got stories like that too. I've shared a few of them on my show. Yeah, man. Hey, I did some of that shit.
If you see the video, I'm like this.
Hey, he said it. If he said it, let him say it. Yeah,
let him say. I was like, whoa! And then I went back and I was listening. I'm like, all right, this is so great. I have to keep this. You don't edit that out. It's amazing.
Hey, statute of limitations. If it's been over 7 years, he's good. So we've all done dumb shit like that, man. I got a list of shit. Remember Jackass? That show.
Of course.
If me and my boys growing up had cameras where we could have recorded all the shit that we did, man, we would have been millionaires. We're out doing pranks and dumb shit like that all the time, man. We're just hooligans,
Absolutely, dude. So, we're going to close down in a few minutes. I appreciate you coming on. Outside of boxing, what are your other passions, other sports that you like? What do you like to do overall, Mike?
Man, I like to stay fit, active. I like to train. I haven't boxed in a while, so I'm kind of missing it, and I want to get back into it. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to fight in a tournament this August, but everything shut down here with the commission and all that. So the plan was to fight in this Masters tournament, and that blew up. But there's maybe I could do that next year. There's another gym owner that I work with, or just connected with. I'm trying to find the right word. Connected with recently. It's a female, a former pro fighter. She runs a gym down here, and she puts on pro cards and amateur cards. She might get me on a card early next year. There's still part of me, man. I'm 41, and there's still part of me that wants to do that one fight. And me and my wife argue about it a lot. But I'm like, baby, let me do one. Let me just do one by my 42nd birthday. So it was supposed to be this year, damn it. But COVID. But maybe that could happen next year. We were supposed to do a half marathon, me and my wife. That got blown up because of COVID. Now that's rescheduled. So next March, we're going to do the Washington, D.C. Marathon. So we got to start training for that soon. Dude, it's just keeping active and going out, with friends. I love going out and having a beer. You see my Dodgers cap, you know what I'm saying? Watching baseball.
You guys, you're in good shape, dude. That's a hell of a team, man. My Yankees, they fell out like they always do. We get to the promised land, and then we break the promises.
Hey man, I thought the Dodgers in that NLCS, I thought that shit was over, bro.
I thought so too. I was
like, forget about it. This is done. And but they came back, they won it, and now I really think they're going to win the World Series. And I
believe so.
The Rays will win a game, maybe 2 games, but I'd say 5-6 games that series is over, man.
The Rays don't produce enough runs. Like, they have great pitching, but unfortunately, like last night for them, they gave up a lot of runs. They don't produce. They average like about, I'm going to say off the top of my head, 3 to 4 runs a game. I watched that series in depth with the Yankees. I've watched them all year with the Yankees. I've seen them in the past. It's almost the same team it was last year, whether it's 162 games or 60 games or whatever it's going to be.
Right.
The Dodgers are just a powerhouse of everything that you want in baseball.
The long ball, man.
They got long ball. They have timely hitting. They have great pitching, and they have awesome coaching. Like, when you put all that together, this is why it frustrates me as a Yankee fan. Like, I watch the Yankees, I'm like, okay, we have so much potential, but why is everything that we try to do is a home run? Why is my manager not pulling a pitcher when he needs to be pulled out of the game? Why is, I hate to say this, Gary Sanchez, if you or your friends are listening, why are you a Yankee? Like, you cannot, you're a catcher. Your job is to catch a baseball. This guy drops balls all the time. I'm like,
yeah, man, that's rough. Well,
so
another thing with the Dodgers know how to pick up walks.
Yes.
So you get a couple guys up, because hitting a solo home run ain't going to really do much for you. But if you got a couple guys on, and then you have, that's where you have those breakthrough innings where you can get 4 or 5 runs in the inning like they did last night, right? They had,
oh wow, that was amazing.
4th inning, where they had like 4 or 5 runs. So like those big innings, you got to have guys on base. And I think with your boys, they're not getting guys on base.
No, we don't get guys on base. We hit a home run about 400 and some odd feet, and then we strike out. Exactly. And then we strike out.
But you got enough titles, man. You guys are good. You got about 500.
It's been a long time. I used to go to like when I lived in Jersey, I used to go to like every like Yankee game back in the day. I'm a diehard baseball fan. My 2 favorite sports are boxing and baseball. Boxing number 1,
Yeah.
But I used to go to every game, dude. Like literally, like I was always at home games. Like, you ever see that movie Fever Pitch? When the guys,
of course, yeah,
exactly.
That was
that was kind of like my life for a while.
All right, hey, I understand, man. I grew up in Detroit with, and I'm still a Tigers fan. Like, if the Tigers are playing, I'm going to back the Tigers. But now with the Dodgers and in the playoffs and everything, I'm all Dodgers. And growing up in Detroit, we had the old Tiger Stadium, and for a while it was the oldest park in the country. Tickets were next to nothing. Wasn't the best part of town. I mean, well, all of Detroit.
I remember the stadium. Yeah, Cecil Fielder was nasty, man.
Remember Cecil Fielder? Hell yeah, man. Well, before him, Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker, Salt and Pepper. So like, we could go to games, and like, my family didn't have a lot of money. I grew up, in the working class. I actually was born in a trailer park. I lived in a trailer park for a while. So I guess I'm trailer trash. But we could go to those games, with like a $2 ticket or whatever at the top. And the team was so shitty that, no one was in the stands. So by like the 6th, 7th inning, things had cleared out and you could sneak down. And the ushers, they didn't give a shit. So we go down to the bottom, and you could have awesome views as a little kid at Tiger Stadium. So, so there was good memories, even though the team sucked.
I remember you guys. My team wasn't good around that era too. The Yankees were terrible, and then we got to like the '94, then obviously the '96, and then
you guys owned the league for a while.
We went nuts, and I was at 2 perfect games, dude. I saw David Cohn pitch a perfect game.
David Cohn, yeah.
I saw David Wells pitch a perfect game.
That's right. That's right.
We were spoiled. And so, like, when we, honestly, I'm going to say this as Yankee fans, as a Yankee fan, 2 Yankee fans, when we lost, it was like, wait, what? That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, what the hell is this?
We always win. Like, what is this?
Right.
But I got to ask you,
World Series,
go ahead, buddy.
What the hell?
Exactly. So I got to ask you, I'm going to leave you with this, brother. What can we expect from you next? What are your plans with your podcast? What do you have lined up for your listeners, buddy?
Well, it's just going to be, look, I still write for, in the magazine itself. I got articles in the magazine. In fact, I was just talking to Doug Fisher today about, hey, what's my next assignment? So I either got 1 or 2 assignments coming up here. So, covering fights for the site itself, writing in the magazine, and then developing my show. I thought with my show, the thing is like, I built a studio. I'm doing this video in a studio I built. That was a big part of leaving LA and moving to a place like Atlanta that's so affordable. I realized no one's going to just give me a job. It's not going to punch me in the face. I got to create my own ship that I can be the captain of. And that's how I view my show, my podcast, right? There's very few podcasts right now that are live with video, audio, and phone calls. So the next step is to get the technology where I can do video calls and all that kind of stuff. And that's what's coming later. Probably, next year, my wife will be handling that. Yeah, that's not going to be me.
It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. That's why I do a lot of pre-records, because nowadays with technology and what people are using and how their Wi-Fi set up or whatever, it's like, you know what, let me just do a pre-record. If I got to do a punch in, like, I've had some great shows recently. I got some great shows coming up. You mentioned Dougie Fisher. He'll be on this week. I cannot wait to talk to him. Yeah, he's a great guy, dude. We're going to totally nerd out with Star Wars and comic books, like, because
dude, if you're in the comic books, that dude will talk comic books.
We're gonna have a great time. Great time. I got something I'm not gonna reveal right now. I got a question for Doug. Just one comic book shop in New Jersey. If he's listening to this, maybe he does a little research and finds it out. He probably knows about it because he's a big comic book collector. But there's a beautiful comic book shop in New Jersey that is the best of the best, right? And I can't wait to talk to him about it. If he hasn't heard about it, I can't wait to tell him all about it, because I've been there many times.
Cool. He will definitely be interested in that.
Yeah, I know he will. He's a great guy. You're a great guy. Stay safe. You and Tiffany, be healthy.
Same to you, brother.
You're doing great, dude. You guys look like you're
doing great. Thank you, man.
Great.
Same to you, brother. Blessings.
Absolutely. The show will be up probably within the next hour or so. It's going to be on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. Mike, how can we find you?
Easy to find, man. Montero on Boxing. On all the platforms, Twitter, YouTube, all that. Just Montero on Boxing is the same handle everywhere, and you'll find me.
Guys,
we wrap up the call with another political call. Jesus, man, they're calling me nonstop with this.
And what I want to say to my listeners and anyone that follows Michael, you probably are listening to this show because you follow Michael. But I want to say this for people that haven't followed Michael. His podcast, The Neutral Corner, is the perfect name. He breaks down science, logic, and he is straight up and real. There's no fabrication. There's no bullshit, guys. And he shoots from the hip, but he shoots with logic from the hip. And it's very entertaining to listen to. So if you guys have not listened to this podcast or heard anything that he's a part of, you guys have to get on that right now.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Mike, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Absolutely, man. Let's do it again soon.
Absolutely.